Okay, our beloveds. Today is Thursday, the 12th. Tomorrow will be Friday, the 13th. Now, what does Friday the 13th stir up within you? Fear, laughter, doubt, inspiration, or is it something that you give absolutely no thought to? Your thoughts create your reality, right? So if you have a fear that something bad will happen on Friday the 13th, the more of you that believe this, the more of you attract something like this to a certain extent. There are also other things which are timed or dedicated to happen, as well as specific desires of your heart that may have nothing to do with the collective, but nonetheless, your expectations do have an impact on the experience around you. Now, this does not mean that you are manifesting bad stuff, bad experiences, more how you perceive them through that filter. For example, if something horrendous happened and it was on Friday the 13th, many of you could say, see, it is true. The 13th is a bad day, whereas those of you who do not believe in the black cat walking underneath a ladder or a broken mirror causing 7 years of bad luck, right? It's all just a matter of superstition to a certain extent. And once you realize that life is playing out exactly as it is meant to, and that who you are vibrationally, not just your thoughts, but really that inner you, that is what is creating the vibration of the experiences around you, individually and collectively. Now, one of the things that we like to do when we channel through Kati is to offer what we call the mystery grab bag. You all have these very specific questions that you want to ask us. Why did this happen? What should I do about this opportunity? Or just very pointed queries. And we will honor that. But what if you are picking up a penny, thereby missing $1 million check that is to the left? We prefer the mystery grab bag because in doing that, we give you what we want you to know. We, in essence, offer you a lottery message, not a lottery ticket. But nonetheless, if that lottery ticket, right, or message is to grant you the wishes of your heart, which would you prefer? Your simplistic query or a flashlight from your spirit team saying, I want you to go in this particular direction because that is where your hidden treasure is, the hidden gems. The unknown, the unseen is much more exciting to travel into when you know that it is going to bring to you exactly what it is that you desire. And so you embrace this bumpy, long, turbulent journey instead of resisting it as much as you can. It is the resistance oftentimes that creates or causes the pain that you experience versus the enjoyment of the journey. So if, for example, you fell and broke your hand, you could get angry and curse the universe, or you could just simply say, well, it is because I have an imbalance now, and I tripped, and it is okay, and not to be angry about the frustrations in having to shower and dress and tend to oneself with a cast on. It's that simple. It is the exact same experience. You harm yourself. You trip and fall somehow, breaking an appendage, and now you deal with it. And if you are bitter and angry about that, or just as a whole, if your disposition is just as a bitter and angry person, the pain and the suffering that will go with that broken hand, broken finger, broken appendage experience will be much greater, because your body is so densely tied together that you will feel things more. It is the anger and the frustration and the resentment and ultimately the resistance which causes the physical sensations to magnify. If you all could learn to do the proper form of Akashic deep breathing, you would actually be able to bypass all of the pain, because the pain body only exists to the extent that you believe that it exists. And for those of you who have managed to learn how to do this particular yogic practice of separating the pain body from the mental body, from the energetic body, in doing this, you have a vastly different experience. And pain no longer rules how you live. It is just merely an experience to meander through. You're learning slowly but surely to put your hand on the fire a little bit less, to pull it back quicker, and to simply watch the flames without a need to try to control it. Let it burn what it is meant to burn. Let it heat what it is meant to heat. And let it simply be and expire, because eventually the fire too will burn itself out when the fuel has been burned off. So allow your body to go through the same process of refining itself and burning off those energies which no longer support you. And stay out of resistance and remain in a state of acceptance. And if you can, even see it as a blessing that this particular experience is refining you and honing you to become a better version of you. And maybe, just maybe, there really is a cherry that will be on top of that sundae, that shit sundae, that will make you realize that not only was this worth it, but it truly was a gift to bring you into the next experience, that without whatever that was and what it offered, you would not be able to move into the next square in this game that we call your life. You are learning more and more to resist less and to embrace more, and to be present in the now, and to figure out the whys of it as you are in the moment, versus looking outside of yourself for the cause, for what you can blame, for how you can transfer your responsibility onto the shoulders of someone else. It is your lesson and only your lesson that we are trying to teach you. And somebody else's lesson is only their lesson that we're trying to teach them. So don't take on the lessons of others, and don't force your lessons onto the shoulders of others. It's really that simple. You are a goldfish in a little fishbowl, looking at the world outside of you, when really it is just simply your life in your little fishbowl that you are experiencing. And all of you are just the little fishbowls staring at one another, but not really interacting, because you are the center of your movie and someone else is the center of their movie. And you just happen to overlap in the sense that you see one another. But it's really just you and a reflection of you that you are seeing in all of the fishbowls around you. It's just a huge dancing globe, a reflective series of mirrors that shine back to each of you just your own image of self in all of the different forms that you could present yourself in. And you are beginning to see how you really all are one, because you're beginning to feel the pain of the collective and not only your own. You're beginning to experience empathy as you visualize the experience of another, instead of only how it impacts or makes you feel. You're seeing that you are all interconnected, and it is just one big spaghetti bowl full of energy, all intertwined and intermingled. And when you really look at it, it is hard to figure out where one noodle begins and another ends. You are long and skinny, and you're wrapped around one another in a loving embrace. And when you pour the big pot of spaghetti sauce or pesto sauce or butter or ketchup, it doesn't really matter. You cannot even see the distinction between the individual pieces. It is just one large object. And that is all that you all are. A dancing ball, a globe, fractal patterns, sunshine reflecting off of one another. It's all just light reflecting off of light. And you will begin to see what this means very, very soon, when devastation does begin to rear its ugly head. You will begin to see how you can see yourself in the life of another by being generous, kind, and helpful, as travesty brings out the best of you most of the time. And so it is. Namaste.